So then I had to stop skiing. Before the 2014 games, when like my good event, the sprint, was going to be back, I've been waiting 8 years for the thing I'm good at. But I was an absolute mess. At my lowest point, I couldn't even leave my hotel room. I was just fried. And I just looked at the bathtub and I was like, I could see how you just want to like bleed everything away. And then I heard a knock on the door and I opened it. My wax technician who waxed my skis, and he's like, I see you're struggling. I made it to supper, I didn't eat, but that was like the beginning of like starting to get healthy. And I decided I would try to go to the games. I decided to make it my own journey to health, that I would make it my project. I would make it or I wouldn't make it, but I would be healthy. And I'd worked so hard on my mental health, like worked on it as hard as I'd worked to win a gold medal, as hard as I'd worked to make the Olympic team. That was my project every day. I made it to the games by the skin on my teeth, and I raced, and I was just like flying around that mountaintop. And I did it, and I was so happy. And I crossed the line, and I got 43rd. And I felt like I'd won 1,000 gold medals. Like, I did it, I'm well. And that inner peace I keep to this day. So that's my most treasured result of my ski career.
Welcome to the Calgary Sessions. This is episode number 127. I'm your host, Jeff Humphreys. Before we get into it today, if you're a fan of the show, please share it. If not this episode, the other episodes, I'd appreciate it. Today's guest, I am pumped for this conversation. Again, I don't do any research, but I know the name, know like the loose background. But once we connected online and I got to actually see what you're up to and what you're passionate about, I was jazzed that you said yes. So please name and who you are.
Thanks for having me. It's so great to be here and to get to spend this time with you. My name is Chandra Crawford. I was born and raised in Canmore, and I went to 3 Olympics in cross-country skiing. I won a gold medal in my first Olympics when I was 22. I founded a national charity for girls in sports, empowering girls in sports, when I was 21, actually, before that first games. And then did that in parallel while ski racing, creating events all over Canada, all over North America at one point for girls age 8 to 18 to meet inspiring role models. And retired from skiing, 2014, my last games, clicked out of the skis. So relieved to stop training skiing. And went and did my master's of business administration at the University of Calgary. And my partner, Jared, and I started having kiddos. So we had 4 kids and continued running the charity. And then I stepped down from the charity, and now I'm doing keynote speaking, which I've always done since 2006. And I'm just happy to be here, living the dream.
You're very comfortable talking, obviously, right? Like this environment is something that you're like natural. Was it always natural? Like this keynote idea, was it a honed skill, or were you just like comfortable in front of crowds?
You know what? My dad is a video producer.
No way. Oh, so this all like, makes sense to you. And
this is like home. Like there's so many funny home videos of my dad.
Amazing.
Maybe testing out his new cameras, and he's like, what are you guys eating? Like we're just always on camera. We're doing different, being extras, redo the shot, or transcribing time code, or just
all of it.
It was really fun growing up with that. He was a photographer initially, and then he taught himself video.
Amazing.
So it taught me photography, and that was a way to connect with my dad, right? I'm like in the show, I'm on the show, I'm doing the right angle and like skiing the line and doing all the things.
Amazing. It's as we get into it, I always find it fascinating, just like those connecting points for people, those little moments when they're youngsters, just the experiences they've had that all of a sudden it just sets them up to do something down the road, it's always fascinating because a lot of people don't know those things, right? Obviously I wouldn't know that, but kind of makes sense why you're, cameras, mics, you're super comfortable.
Yeah, we're just a random basket of experiences.
Totally.
It's like the Steve Jobs calligraphy thing, or like the Malcolm Gladwell book Outliers, all these things that just take us on our paths, and we don't always know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen, but it's exciting to meet, different people and understand what are the inputs into you? Like, why are you like this? It's cool.
Have you always been like mindful of that? Like, have you always gone on the path of like reading those kind of books and being thoughtful about it, or is it?
I love growth and introspection. I love psychology. And I'll tell you why. I was not as strong as the other women ski racers. I did not have the same engine, VO2 max.
Mm.
I was able to draw a little more on psychology, on focus, on pain tolerance, on game day performance.
Mm.
And I fell in love with psychology because I was like, hang on, I focused better and got this great result.
Mm-hmm.
And I just find it so interesting.
I'm fascinated. We could have like 3 podcasts out of that conversation, because that's like the mental piece is like, I don't want to say you have it or you don't have it. You can like work at it, but it seems like you can be more natural with it.
Well, that's my question. Do you believe in like we're born a certain way, or do you believe we could just mold things and figure things out?
I think I don't like, both isn't the right answer, but I think it's a combination of like a mix. You know, I don't like,
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't like to put myself in like extreme situations. Like it's all this or it's not that, like the black and white. I feel like there's a middle ground usually.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably my old age and me calming down as a human, looking for the middle now instead of the extreme. What do you think?
I'm a growth mindset lunatic. Yeah, I'm really off the deep end on growth mindset. In MBA school, my classmate, Scott, was like, well, no, we can't just all go be Olympians. I was like, we can do anything we set our mind to. So I can be super annoying with how much I love growth.
And is that like part of your keynotes? Is that kind of a steady conversation with your talks?
Yeah, that would be in there. The main thing people want to hear about from me is resiliency and the athlete mindset. Because I would have raced 1,000 times and lost 992 times. And that's something that gets taught to us athletes with all our awesome psychology. Multi-million-dollar psychology is to refocus faster. Is such a great skill. You know, the pros and cons of berating yourself. Like, it's all cons. You could just cheer yourself on and get back on the horse. So that's part of my talks for sure. Yeah.
Amazing. This one's going to be awesome. I don't know if you've seen any of these, but the kind of what I like the guests to do is kind of go back as far as they want to go. So where they grew up, how they grew up, you know, who inspired them, just and all these little moments along the way. So some people go back to like kindergarten, some go back to grade 7. So just go back to a point where things started to, you know, it's not super fuzzy, but you can start remembering things, and we'll just kind of weave our way to all the things that you are doing today.
Origin story.
You done this before?
No, you said origin story in the calendar invite.
Yeah.
So being born and raised in Canmore is very formative for me, just going up and down those mountains and the kinds of people in the town, all those Olympians, the national Nordic ski team. If I grew up somewhere else, I would just do something else. And even that our house was right below the Nordic Center, like I could walk to and from training without having to get a ride, and got extra workouts as I was commuting to training. So there's a lot of things that lined up there, but Canmore also has all these mountain climbers. Yeah. And you just be at the grocery store and
amazing climbers.
Yeah. And like, oh, that person just climbed K2 and like the fatality rate on K2 at that time was like 50% or something crazy.
Who are the names that you remember back in the day of the climbers?
I'm really into Sharon Wood.
Okay.
Sharon Wood changed my life. I got to see her speak. She's the first North American woman to climb Mount Everest. And I got to see her in person. And when I was 14, my ski dream was getting stronger and stronger, seeing the national team women competing. In the 1998 Nagano Olympics, they were still on the upside down podium. They were at the very bottom of the list. And then they did this thing. They just got gritty and super serious. And with their coach, Dave Wood, they just built this thing over 4 years till 2002. Becky Scott stood on the podium and got the first ever Olympic medal, gold medal for Canada cross-country skiing. And I was 17.
Where was she from?
She is from Vermilion Lakes, Alberta.
Okay.
And I was 17 at that time, just dreaming Olympic dreams so hard, like going to World Juniors, training twice a day. And that was like a real like zing, it is on.
Leading up to that, was it like all in on sports? Like what else was like Canmore is this, obviously it can be a playground for everything, but what else was kind of going on growing up?
I really loved mountain biking. I loved trail running. I was in the swim club. I did all individual endurance sports. I went to soccer and I just jog along the side. I was like, that was a pretty good jog.
What do you think you just naturally gravitated toward those kind of like the individual sports, or was it your parents kind of allowing you to just experience those ones specifically?
Yeah, I probably had more exposure to the different. So my parents are hippies. They want to canoe and hike and identify wildflowers and take beautiful pictures. My mom would even bring her book and likes to read her book in beautiful places. They're so amazing. So my childhood was like, let's enjoy the outdoors.
Yep.
And then I had a competitive switch on in me. Speaking of fixed or growth traits, that just was in there. And I was like, let's do these things as fast as we can.
We're going to walk or get to the top or get to that place the quickest.
And I love challenges. I journaled tons since I was 10, so I can actually go back and read what it was like. Yeah, I have these giant stacks of journals. I'm just about to take pics of them and maybe load them up into the AI and be like, write my autobiography.
Sounds like a brilliant idea.
It's going to be great. The journals are cool.
Why'd you start journaling?
I don't know. I probably saw my mom journaling, but yeah, and it's a habit I kept the whole from age 10 to age 40.
No way.
Yeah, it's fun. So I wrote things like, oh, today I rolled a kayak and I jumped off the cliff of the quarry and did a flip and I, hit all 5 targets in biathlon. And I just loved challenges and the ski club was so fun.
Amazing.
Yeah, it was a good setup, but I also loved music. I was in the choir and everyone played piano. I was in French immersion, so all us French immersion nerds all play piano, Nordic ski. It was a really insulated little class I was in. And then I played alto saxophone in the jazz and concert band, which also kind of scratches that same performance itch of get nervous, feel like you want to puke. Why am I going to do this? Oh my gosh, I have to do the solo. I'm going to die. And I think I just like that feeling of oh, I'm out, I'm out here in beyond my limits, challenging myself.
Do you, when you felt that early, were you able to manage it? Or were you just in that feeling of oh my God, do I have this? Did you know what was happening? Or were you just, you're just willing to sit in that situation and figure it out? It didn't freak you out. You almost embraced it.
Yeah, probably adrenaline.
Yeah.
Probably an adrenaline pathway.
Yeah.
Can we do something scary?
Let's go. Was it that are you the oldest sibling?
I'm the oldest, yeah.
Do you think there's anything to being the oldest, being driven or pushing? Is there? I'm the oldest too in my family.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I have a younger brother, younger sister. And you talk about journaling, and I don't know where my mom brought over a box of books, old report cards or book reports or something. Or I think we had a journaling piece, and all I talked about was the score in the Flames game, and how many goals I got at soccer, and if I was playing hockey, doing something in hockey. So as you're telling your story, I'm but I was always driven too. I always wanted to be the fastest, or I wanted to. As an old sibling, an older
birth
sibling.
Order thing sometimes for sure.
It's weird. I don't know. I don't know. I guess it's just kind of how it's just the environment you grow up in, I guess, and what you have inside of you that.
Yeah. Those are all for sure factors. Kind of see that kind of often those A types firstborns. But then I was reading that it can be the adults around us labeling things that makes it more deterministic. So and I do resonate with you, and I'm I know it's a thing, but I'm also trying to unwind my preconceived notion and it's a conflict. And my family is really interesting because my sister and I went to the Olympics each 3 times. She did biathlon.
No way.
But sad story, our middle brother passed away from addictions in 2017. We will not be able to understand all of this today, you and me, Jeff, but wow, it's a whole can of worms having kids and what about me of striving and pursuing things so intensely are also, a form of addiction.
Yeah.
And self-soothing by going out and doing hard things. I don't know. I do not know.
It's
something there.
Do you spend much time thinking about that or researching it or sitting with it to try and come up with an idea, or is it just
there's still some things to be learned there that I have not fully tangoed with. But for now, just send love to my brother Jord and what he went through, and he passed away. He was 31.
Wow, it's young.
Yeah.
when you're like walking up and down that hill, going to training, at what age did it like turn on for you? Like, this is what I want to do. Besides seeing Becky Scott, because I remember that when she won that too. Besides that, was there like a lead up to that? Like 3 years, you know, you're like 14, 15, 16. Were you all in on this idea, or were you still kind of dabbling in a bunch of different activities?
Because I love so many things, and I really did want to go to university, and I really did want to go have that experience and learn. So I would, if you met me in your time machine, came back to the late 90s, and I would have said, I'm going to ski one more year.
Yep.
And I would say, and then go to school. And I'd say that, I said that for a few years until Becky won. And then I could stop saying that. I was like, I am going to try to go to the Olympics.
What do you want to take at school? Like, what was this push to go to university?
Well, I'd like to learn, and I love psychology, and
that was from early on. You want to be into?
Yeah, I wanted to study psychology, and I took a few courses at U of C. The athletes in Canmore would take anything that fit on Tuesdays and Thursdays, you know, in our rest break between our 2 workouts. And I got to do anthropology, and Brian Keating was the teacher, and even the tiny experiences I had at university in that time were super interesting. But then I thought, okay, I have like interests. I have like music and psychology and sports and all the things I love. But like, what if I take all my power and I just concentrated into like a laser beam? Then what would happen? And so there was this long pairing off time where like I stopped babysitting, and then I wouldn't mountain bike anymore and do things I loved. And I would just put all my energy into ski racing. And that was kind of cool too, right? Like singleness of purpose.
Yeah.
And I don't know, in your hockey days and so on, did you ever have like just full focus on it?
Yeah, like it's kind of, when you're younger, there's way less inputs happening, right? There's no family, you know, you're not trying to figure out how to make a living usually. There's just less like inbound things to deal with. So I feel like getting to that laser point, I'm not saying it's easier, but there's a quicker step to get there.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Did you know what you were doing as you were like stopping, you know, when you decide not to mountain bike anymore, when you decide not to do these things, do you know back then what you were doing, like how laser you were trying to be, or were you just like, I want to get good at this and this feels what I need to do?
I had coaches. I had great coaches. Yes.
That like armed you with this idea?
Well, we would make the plan together, and they're pretty good coaches. They're like a good parent, a good guide. A great coach sees that you have it in you, and they're like bringing it out and maybe directing a bit. I was never like in a coach athlete dynamic where I was like, yes, tell me what to do. I am your robot. That did not work for me, even if a coach wanted to have that dynamic. I was like, I'm the one who's going to move the arms and legs, so you're not going to be there when I'm doing that. Okay, so I had great coaches who would be like, you can do the 24-hour mountain bike race, but what are your goals for the year? Like, what do you want to have happen at World Juniors? And started to develop this like no regrets philosophy, which would be like, if I lose, I will not regret. Like, I did everything in my power. I can rest. I can fall asleep at night. Like, I bombed, but I did everything. But if I like, maybe I could have done things a little better, then that's a different kind of like, I think it's an Andre Agassi quote. I can live with disappointment, but I can't live with regret. And the difference between those two. Which led to incredible amounts of focus, leaving no stone unturned. Totally obsessive 24-hour athlete.
How old was that when this thing like went?
That was 17 because I graduated from high school a little bit early. And I was just training. And it was cool because I was with the other best athletes in the country. It's so fun. Were
you good at a young age? Like, do you think your coaches could see something? Like when you say coaches, the good coaches can see something. Obviously, they can see drive, talent, a bunch of the other pieces. But were you good at a young age?
I started to notice I was had good abilities. See, the thing was I was doing biathlon and I couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. So I would like so I'd come into the range, miss all the targets. My competition would leave, and then I'd go ski 5 penalty loops and then go catch them. So I got in awesome shape, but it would have been hard. It would have been possible to see, you know, what you could have seen probably is my animal instinct.
Which part of it?
So what people have described, like in my retirement video and so on from sport, my my friend Natalie described, like she would just go the wrong way following like the junior boys and following the senior women. Cause I was like, I'm following this senior woman. I'm not going to let her go. And I'd go on the wrong course and get disqualified like half the time. So that would serve me well, like in an Olympic sprint where the course was well demarked and I was only racing these broads. so intense. Yeah.
When did that show up? Was that from like a young age? Like at 17 when you decided to go all in, get super focused, see Becky Scott do it? Like, did you have that? That was already there?
Probably. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
What I find fascinating is just like meeting you for the first time. Walk in, everything's like happy, it's easy going. That like animal side. Does it still come out?
Well, please invite me for a bike ride and I will literally rip your legs off.
But it's like that, right?
It almost feels like Chandra's not here anymore and there's like a racer demon. You know, in the movie Seabiscuit when they would like draw Seabiscuit even to the other competitor.
Yep.
So yeah, that drive. You see why I'm not putting my kids in too much sports?
Well, you on the sideline?
Your kids are so screwed.
Like, there's a bunch of things that could go sideways.
Yeah. Psychology that.
No, I'm not qualified. So when you decide to go all in on it, 17, what does it actually look like? You know, what kind of is this, like no job, just all in on skiing? You're super young. And is your mom and dad cool with you just going all in on this idea?
My parents are great. They gave me the message, like, do your passion was one of their things. So they were awesome. However, we didn't have all the money for all the ski racing. And I remember being at Altitude Sports, the ski shop downtown Canmore, with like my nose pressed to the glass, like I need those skis. And I remember my dad saying, well, we can't get you those skis, sweetie. And I saw this little picture in the corner of an athlete, like, thank you. And I'm like, what is that? That is what I'm going to do. And I learned sponsorship from an early age, which was such a great life skill, like reciprocating and taking people on the journey and like, what is sponsorship? So that turned out pretty cool.
At a young age,
adversity.
This is like, can you run me through this? And the reason I want to go into this because I find like when you might say this, but I'll say it, what I think. It's like when you're looking for sponsors, they want to buy in on a brand. And that difference between, you know, like if you go to, you as a skier going to like an engineering company, maybe they love skiing, but maybe they don't. But like finding people that are like-minded humans that might buy into your story is like a better way to find alignment that equates to money.
Yeah.
So what did you figure out at a young age? And before you answer, sorry, Haley Daniels.
Yeah, I love Haley.
I had her on the show and she started talking about sponsorship. And I was just like,
yeah, she's good.
So anyways, I'd love to hear your process around sponsorship and kind of what clicked for you. Sorry, I'm not done yet. I think it's fascinating because people are always looking for money, you know, and even like people turning on podcasts, you know, they want to figure out how to monetize it. So there's just so many. That's why I'm kind of on you here to really understand how you navigated in the sponsorship world.
I've probably mostly, and also fundraising for that national charity for 18 years, which was my main job at the charity. I can hire people to do operations, but to go actually get checks signed was really challenging, and what I was able to do for the movement, for the cause. So I probably did the model the most that was like just speaking to a small group of really, really dedicated fans and like finding those people that really connect with the cause. There's a Japanese word for ultra intense fans, the otaku. Have you heard this like marketing philosophy? It's like speak to your otaku and they will be promoting you more widely. So just being extroverted as I am, being out and about, doing ski races, talking to the media, going to events, hustle, talk. Then some people would be drawn to it, or people would be like, you got to go talk to so-and-so. And so partnerships were really about finding the other fervent, like fans of women in sport who care about it. Everyone can care about it for different reasons. Not everyone on the team at Fast and Female or on the partnership side would have the exact same reasons as me, but it would be a fit for them. And it would look so good for their brand. Like we do care about women and girls. Ta-da!
Yeah, we're actually doing something.
Yeah.
When you first started going to talk to people, like to get money, essentially, did you know it was kind of around women in sport then? Was that kind of something you were talking about back then, or were you just like, what was your kind of talking points?
What am I selling? I'm selling Canadian pride. I'm selling vicarious journey through the highs and lows.
Mm-hmm.
Folks, whether they were funding me like privately or through a company, it was still like, you're really selling storytelling, like the Haley Daniels, and your expertise, like igniting that fire. There was one athlete, David Ford, who was a whitewater kayaker. He's awesome at sponsorship, and he was like, "Oh, I'm not too old to kayak, suckers!" And I remember his sponsors being like, "Yeah, right, underdog."
Mm-hmm.
And so we all have like something really exciting to bring folks along on the ride. And so I just had wonderful people, and I would tell them, "Hey, I had a terrible race in Czech Republic today." And then, "Oh, actually I had a pretty decent race. I was top 10 and just meet with them, send them postcards and thank them. Yeah.
Did you know what you were doing back then? Like, were you that thoughtful of like the approach to it?
For
like,
partnerships?
Like talking this way. Were you talking this way back then? Just around like, you're with me for the journey. We're going to like tell this story. Like,
how did we do that?
It all obviously makes complete sense to me in today's, but I feel as a youngster to kind of be that mindful and thoughtful and like if that's your approach, it's pretty heady.
It shifted at one point from a needs case to like charity side, please pay for my training camp, to like, do you want to be part of this?
Yeah.
This is going to be awesome. And I'll come talk to your company, like value prop, what's in it for you?
Yeah.
And so, I guess now that I've gone to school and learned more terminology, but initially I feel that I had a deep understanding of reciprocation. Like, I want your money to go ski in Europe. I don't need to explain that part. Why should you care?
Yep.
This is exciting. You know what I would really engage in a lot, because it's just me. I love people's kids and I want to know how their kids are doing, and I keep track of all their kids, and might even send a thoughtful like fast and female gift. And so they're like, I can imagine, I didn't have kids at that time. I have them now, but like they would go home and be like, look, we got this toque with this logo, and this stands for, women in sport and gender equity in sport, and girls can do anything. And we got this athlete, she's going to ski. Let's watch her in the Olympics. And I can imagine that was a big part of the package.
Yeah. Amazing. It's just so cool to the reason I like talking about these things, because when I think about myself at 17, I'm not figuring this out.
Yeah.
And probably because that I probably didn't have that one thing that drove me, like that laser focus. I didn't really have that on one thing. So I don't think I could ever speak like that.
So you were like a healthy whole human. That sounds nice for you.
I don't know. I like to go the other way. I like to like redline on certain things, but that's why the sponsorship piece is really interesting to me. Because of my livelihood, but there's so much people can learn a lot from that simple approach, I think.
Very cool.
So what else gets going? When did you start the foundation?
The Fast and Female, the first event was 2005 in November.
And you were?
I was 21.
Okay.
And we were in Silver Star, BC. And I learned girls were quitting sports more than boys. And they would be missing out on all this teamwork, leadership, coachability, resiliency. And that sucks.
Yep.
That is brutal. And I'm really action oriented, like definitely shoot first, ask questions later. So I put together a little event. I got $250 from the women's committee. I used it to buy t-shirts. And I had my roommate draw a like superhero woman holding skis. Cool. And we called it Fast and Female, and got the role models, my heroes, to talk to the young kiddos. It was great. And then 4 months later, I surprise won the Olympics. So that was like, perfect. What do you want to talk about? I'm like, we're talking about girls in sports. Yeah.
It's right there.
It was so cool.
Before you started it, 17 to 2005, what was going on then? Was it just like straight training? Were you going after anything else? Was school on your radar, or was it just?
Nope. Stopped attempting to do school after buying correspondence course, and then buying extension, and then not doing it. Like, this is probably not for me to tackle my procrastination at this time. And like, it's enough just to try to ski race at the highest level. But for mental health, I think just ski racing was not going to work for me. And that's too much of my identity tied up in my results and too much for my brain to like overanalyze. So it was great that between the workouts, I would work on fast and female and kind of learn some charity skills and business skills and event management and people management and board of director management and get all these like really practical skills, right? Which was even more valuable. Yeah.
That like when Becky Scott wins and you're like, I'm going after this. Was it just like, when was your first games? What year?
2006. Yeah.
How old were you in 2000?
Then I was 22.
Okay.
And we'll have to link to the video because it's pretty cool.
You winning?
Yeah. Is it cool? Your video of you winning?
You can send it.
It was very recent also, just last week. So that's what's funny about it. Okay, yes, I'm still talking about my medal, but I'm also like really
How do you not?
getting to use it to like have this platform.
Yeah, totally.
Like it was amazing for Fast and Female. It's amazing to get to be a keynote speaker. And I talk about things way harder than winning that gold medal.
For sure.
Because a lot happened after that. And have like messages of resiliency. So anyway, what was the question?
So the chase to your like first Olympics. That kind of, what did that look like? Was it I've talked to a couple Olympians and you get like different versions of, you hear different stories of what their kind of experience was going to their first game. So what was going on? What was going through your head?
That was so cool. I'm really overusing so cool today. It was quite the journey to get to those first games, and I would not have won the medal and I wouldn't have made it even if I hadn't had this adversity, this challenge. I got demoted to the B team. And like to win at the highest level, to be world class, you're going to need at the very least the physiologist to analyze your heart rate and like decide which workouts are good and bad for you. Like everyone in the world is training super hard twice a day. The only way to win is to work smarter and more efficiently in the body. So without that, it just seemed like I would have a snowball's chance at even making it. But there were some like last minute spots for us B teamers driving around in our stinky van with no budget, not leaving town.
Yeah.
And at the same time, like I just look back and think, thank goodness that happened, because me on the A team would have been just like running around, waving the flag, trying on the outfits. And thank goodness I was on the B team, because I had this like anger and intensity, and I was really mad at the coaches for demoting me to the B team. And it was great.
Did you hide that? Like, listen, when you said, let's go for a bike ride, I'm like, no, fuck no. But like that intensity and the anger, were you, do people know?
It was kind of funny. I started out sad and bummed out.
Yep.
Like, poor me. And then I was running by the river in Canmore with my teammate, Amanda Butler, who's like this 5 foot tall kind of punk, like more piercings and more badass than me. Like she lends some badassness to me. And her suggestion was like, why don't you stop moping around? Why don't you win a ski race and hold up one middle finger for one coach and one middle finger for the other? I would never do that. But the idea helped me to like transmute it into something more productive, and anger is productive. So that worked out pretty good, because then I could just like get beat down to the B team, get mad, train harder, and really have a lot of energy from it. You know, in other future cycles, that wouldn't work quite so well, because it was kind of a one-time thing.
You would pull the animal out, like
it's called like blowing up your adrenals and your body. So it worked for that short time frame. I got in amazing shape. I was just like Rocky in Russia. I was just doing it, and it was
awesome.
It was a wonderful but a very stressful time as well. And I would wake up in the morning with like my nails dug into my palms, like I was holding a ski pole, but like, okay, I have to manage this stress. So I had to like visualize and go to yoga, and like recovery is so much a part of elite sport. Everyone can train hard. Not everyone can recover and keep the load up. So that was super cool. Thank goodness that happened, because then I did make the team and the last chance in the fall.
It's like that kind of, it's that story, like last chance qualifier kind of thing.
Yeah,
and then
just a couple spots left for some of these Mobasses might be in shape. So that worked out great.
What if it didn't, did you know you're like, there's no give up? Like, was there only one option, was to get back to the top team?
Did I listen to 8 Mile? Yes. Success is my only option. That's such a great tune in that time. So I was, super intense, but I really did have still the idea that I can live with disappointment. I can't live with regret. So if I do everything and I don't make it, that, I will walk away. You can't do more than your best. It's so cliche, like what exactly is the plan? And also enjoy the journey. That ain't bad. It's pretty sweet to go exercise twice a day, have a nap, eat whole grains, lean protein and complex, and vegetables, and stretch and visualize. And it's just like such a privilege to get to do that.
For sure. Do you know that though in the moment? Could you actually like think logically and like?
No, that's what the sports psychologists are for. And I had access to help with that mental load, and coaches too. Coaches, I had a coach who would I was like writing my notes in my notebook in our meeting, spring training camp. I just want to be like on fire. I just want to beat everyone. And he's like, give me that notebook. He's like, chill pill. And you have to manage this over the long haul. You have to train 6 months, twice a day. Then you race for 5 months. Take 1 month of sort of rest. You have to do that the older girls told me, you have to do this for 10 years to get good.
You're like, yeah.
Where do I sign up? That sounds amazing.
I'm in.
At the same time, you get to travel and meet incredible people and chase insane dreams. And what a life.
When you go from the B team to do you call it the A team? What'd you call it?
Yeah, so I got to make the Olympic team at that point.
So it's like Olympic team and then scrubs on the B team?
Yes, exactly. They got to race domestically. But then I was the only person on the team, man or woman, to win a gold medal at those games and stand on the podium and sing, forget the A team. I was the O Canada girl.
How does that, you dream about it, right? You're like, you have an idea of what you want to accomplish. The day of, did you know that it was in the realm of possibilities, or where's your head at when you're just about to go?
Oh my goodness. Olympic race day, February 22nd, 2006. It was a really nice day. Yeah, it was just like a Canmore day, hard packed snow. Even if it snowed half a centimeter, I would not have won. I had a special condition I was good at called Canmore conditions, rock hard, fast snow. And then I remember this weird moment. I went to the bathroom in the blue porta potty. It has that weird warped mirror in it. And I'm looking at the mirror and I'm like, this is just practice. This is your first games. And I was like, no, how do you know how many days you're going to get? You're so lucky to be here, to be alive, to be in this moment. Just go all out. What are you even talking about? The little inner battle. Live today with full passion for skiing was my goal. And then I got out of that porta potty and I got to the start line and I had to race my hero, Becky Scott, and also my nemesis, Claudia Kunzel, a German ski racer who had pushed me in a previous ski race. And I hadn't raced her since, but I had imagined what if I had to race 10 Claudias? She's the worst. And that's who was in my final, and a Russian, Helena Sidko. So I really just stared at the snow and cleared my mind. And the gun went off and I got out of the gate fast. And I just thought my cue words, power, glide. I had to control the race. I was one of the first women in cross-country skiing to use tactics. Because I was not as strong and fit, I had to control the pace. And my only advantage was I had a bit of a booster jet, a sprint in me. But those strong women could grind the sprint off with no problem unless I went in the front and controlled the pace. And then I had to make someone draft. So I could draft on the downhill and make someone go in front, and then I had to pass them. And it was just wild. I actually don't really remember it. I'm glad we have a video. I was just in the zone.
How long?
It was actually a 2 minute and 12 second race. Wow. But it's 4 times to win the medal. You have to do 1 qualification against the clock, then a quarterfinal. It's elimination rounds. Semifinal, finally get to the final. You're so tired. The women are better, and now it's for the medals. It's just, my whole body was just searing concrete pain. It was crazy. Really hurts.
When you say you blacked out.
Yes, I don't have like the memories of it too much.
Just, it's that intense, and it took that much work to get there. Like, you're
really
just
in the moment, really present.
Does it, like, when you accomplish that, how long do you sit with it and just be like, wow, I actually did something amazing? Like, do you allow yourself to go there, or are you, based on how you operate, are you looking forward to the next thing?
Probably the maximum enjoying it, like right after was on the podium. I had so much fun. Like, I just jumped around and I played a huge air guitar and I sang the anthem so loud and was really, really celebrating it. But then the ski circuit kept going. We went to Japan and China, and then it was all about the 2010 games. So I did have a bit of fear that it would mess up my chance at winning a medal in 2010. I was like, but I just won it, but it's the home games. And also the event I won in would not be in the 2010 games. Right. And yeah, I definitely, if I had a time machine, would enjoy it more. I would take a year off. Like, just hang out and enjoy it for a second, and I think, I think Becky even said the same thing. Like, oh, I should have just gone home after that and enjoyed it. But just keep rocking. I really wanted to go to Japan. I've always wanted to go to Japan. Japan is so cool. You couldn't have told me not to go to Japan. That was amazing.
Charity? Is that what you call it, a charity or foundation?
Yeah, it's a national charity.
Okay.
Yeah.
That idea, it seems like a lot of work to actually like get it off the ground. Did it take a lot of energy to kind of, did it feel very natural to kind of bring this idea to reality, or were you prepared for the amount of work it was going to actually be?
No. It's so intense working in not-for-profit and charity. And those first 9 years, I wasn't like even drawing any money out of it. I was just a volunteer. I would just have a drive to like do this for women in sport. Yeah. So it came from just, you couldn't not do it. And it was really fun and super challenging. Yep. I still find the gender equity in sport world like endlessly fascinating. You have like your passions or things in business that are just like gripping day in, day out, week in, decade in, like, and it's just an amazing time for women's sports right now with all the professional sports leagues. Like, it's wow. So I'm a little tied up with all the kiddos and the keynotes, but still very much see myself in the space and happy to see where it's going. When
you're managing like performing at a high level in sport, and you have this charity beside you that takes a lot of energy, was it just this like looking for a balance that was never there? Or was it just trying to like allocate energy wherever you had to on that specific day?
I really loved having the charity in between my two workouts, or when I was traveling or in airports or like resting up for big races. You have to rest. Yeah. It's so boring. You can't just like watch TV. I loved having a purpose. That's been an amazing anchor in my life. I feel really fortunate. I don't know if you've talked to some of the athletes who've had the really rough transitions.
No, totally.
In like whether we succeed or fail, we have these terrible transitions,
like horrible,
out of sport. And I count myself very fortunate to have had this like purpose thing that was so powerful for me. So I've been working on it nonstop, and then I stopped ski racing and I kept working on it nonstop. Do you
the word purpose, it's such like a heavy, there's so much depth to it. Did you know about purpose back then? Did you know you're creating your purpose back then, or were you just kind of moving in a direction that felt right?
Yeah, I think just moving in a direction that felt right. Just like, oh my God, we have to solve this. What the hey? Are you kidding me? And sports male dominated. So it'd also be a real productive way to channel like, okay, we're in this super male dominated environment. It's so many more men than women here. And no, never had a woman coach and so on. So it really would be a productive coping to like pay it forward, to work towards better futures.
When did you figure out it was purpose driven? Like, when did you figure out that you operated like that?
I don't know.
Like years down the road, like when you're
Yeah.
I don't know, like late 30s. Like it takes a while to figure it out, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have like a whole purpose with the catchphrase and everything?
No. I like no, I don't. But
you're building community.
Yeah. But it's
I love that one.
Which is very true. It's just like purpose. Purpose is it's like a heavy question.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, what's your purpose?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like, I know what I like to do, but I guess if you kind of take the time to deconstruct it, then you can kind of put the two together, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see how it can be like, too much gravitas. And then it's like, well, now do I feel inadequate because I don't have one of these things? And
I think a lot of people struggle to find their purpose. Like someone like me probably can't articulate it. You can quite easily. But I think there's a lot of people that can't. And I think that kind of haunts them a little bit too, right? Because if they're doing something, they're not feeling, but they're like, what am I supposed to do if I don't like this? I don't know where it...
That's hard.
Do you think it's just to figure out this charity piece at such a young age as this driver, do you feel lucky or do you feel like it was just like a natural step?
I think my folks did a good job on like, you know, you're your own unique thing. You're discovering like yourself and what life is about. Trying lots of different things was their philosophy too. Yep. And they're such adventurous spirit. They would write me cards like the road less traveled leads to all the best places.
No way.
They're pretty epic. Whereas I think maybe in some other environments might be more conventional, like work hard.
That's cool.
Yeah. Keep your head down and do something like safe. And my parents would maybe be the opposite. Like, do something crazy, which can actually add pressure in Canmore to kiddos because it's all mountain climbers and Olympians.
All crazy
to be extraordinary. And I think that can affect people negatively too. Toxic positivity. So, wow. Everything's a double-edged sword and every virtue is on a curve or it just goes over into a vice. But for me, wow, that was awesome that I was encouraged to be myself and I was able to do that in Canmore and explore all my different interests and then pare it down to the one that was most compelling and then have this like social justice thing in me that was also for sure a gift from my parents. Like my mom's pretty staunch feminist and would have pointed out inequities to me and then I would like have all my youthful energy and go out the door and I'm like, I'm going to do something about it. So I can't. Hats off to Glenn and Louise. And it's fun to, you know, have my own kiddos now and see what they're going to be into. And I just feel like I'm just along for the ride. Like, let's see who these people are.
2014.
Oh, 2014 is my most treasured athletic memory and achievement.
Second or third?
I placed 43rd.
Sorry, at games.
It was my third games.
Third game.
Yes.
You finished 43rd?
Yes.
So how do you...
Quoi ça?
It's, I think it's... Yeah. Did you know that then? Or are you able to talk like that because it's like past?
Even in the moment, it felt like a huge victory. Cool. And I'll tell you why. I had a gigantic meltdown. I lost all my considerable confidence and my feeling of identity and place in the team and in my community and even within myself, like my belonging to myself. And I first told this story. It took me a long time. I was going to tell it in my keynotes and I would like chicken out and not do it. And then finally did it. Heard an audience of 150 people. And I said, this is the worst thing that ever happened to me. And they all laughed. And I realized it's actually kind of a funny story too, because I had this meltdown because of a breakup and everyone's like being or seeing a terrible breakup. And I've been dating my teammate for 10 years and the team is like 6 to 10 people.
Tight.
Yeah. And we just do everything together. And then the World Cup circuit is also a very small group of people sitting at circular tables, eating from buffets and flying on planes together around the world. And it'd be like, there's, Norway and Sweden and Germany and Estonia and Australia even has a team. And so my partner fell in love with a Norwegian. And in the middle of the winter in our like 10th year of being together. And a bit of backstory, like women and men's cross-country skiing is a little bit different. The men are judged on their performance and the women are judged on their performance and their appearance. And just being in that male-dominated team, they would just like one time my teammate, who's a really nice person, but in Kuusamo, Finland over supper, my teammate is like, that girl is so attractive, so hot. And he held up his pinky finger like this to me. She was like that thin. And just getting those messages constantly in the world gives us these messages constantly. Okay, so then my partner falls in love with this Norwegian girl and I just take it hard on the body image thing. And another piece of the backstory, I'd actually cheated on him a whole bunch. So then that's how I lost my piece of belonging in myself. Because I realized I'm a horrible person actually. And just fell backwards into this self-loathing and berating myself with my inner critic, calling myself names all the time. Then I got an eating disorder so that I was bulimic for a year, which like I founded an organization to keep girls in sports. Healthy and active in sports actually is the vision. So then I felt really bad about that and really ashamed about that. And that went on for like this lead up to the 2014 games.
How old are you like in this window?
I was like in my late 20s. I was like 29.
Oh, so you were,
yeah.
You had some experiences.
I knew everything about eating disorders and that shit is pervasive. So that was a really awful time. And I just kept trying to do what I did kind of to win the gold. Like get mad, train hard, no regrets. I'm fine. But instead I lived like get mad, train hard, hide everything, throw up my food, ignore my feelings, train hard, act like everything's fine, train hard. And then just blew up and started to ski even slower and slower. And the American ski team took me in, which was really nice. So I didn't have to travel with the Canucks.
Oh, no way, because it was going.
Because it was so stressful, like such tiny teams. And they were wonderful. They would like save me like a puppy on the side of the road. They were so nice and kind and brought me back to life in a lot of ways. So then I had to stop skiing. Before the 2014 games, when like my good event, the sprint, was going to be back, I've been waiting 8 years for the thing I'm good at to come back. But I was absolute mess. And at my lowest point, I couldn't even leave my hotel room. And I was like, I was just fried. And I just looked at the bathtub and I was like, I could see how you just want to like bleed everything away. It was the awful low. And then I heard a knock on the door and I opened it. And it's this fridge-shaped Swede, Mika Book, my wax technician, who waxed my skis. And he's like, I see you're struggling. And I made it to supper. I didn't eat, but that was like the beginning of like starting to begin to get healthy, to stop skiing, go home, take antidepressants, do the counseling, meditate, read amazing books, soul search. And I decided I would try to go to the games. Should I go to the games? Should I try to go to the games? I've cratered my health with this whole thing, but I decided to make it my own journey to health, that I would make it my project. I would make it or I wouldn't make it, but I would be healthy in 2014. And I quit the ski team and hired my own coach, a Swede. Thank you. And I trained with a bunch of renegades in Canmore named Team Ninja. And we did our own thing. And I made it to the games by the skin of my teeth. And I raced and I was just like flying around that mountaintop. I'd gone off the antidepressants. I was happy to see everyone. I'd worked so hard on my mental health, like worked on it as hard as I'd worked to win a gold medal, as hard as I'd worked to make the Olympic team. That was my project every day. Leave no stone unturned, like gratitude, what is it? Counseling, everything I need to do for my mental health. And I did it and I was so happy and my ponytail was flying and there was snow flying off my poles. It was like slushy, crazy snow. And I crossed the line and I got 43rd and I felt like I'd won 1,000 gold medals. Like I did it. I'm well. And that inner peace I keep to this day. So that's my most treasured result of my ski career.
Did anybody else see you during this window? Like when that knock on the door, like did anybody else see you kind of, or were they willing to actually say anything?
people would try a little bit. And I think a lot of people tried to also to give me a pump up, like, you're amazing. And like, it would just bounce off me. Like, if I'm so amazing, then why did he break up with me? I don't think I'm amazing. But that, I think, just like kind of the character of that individual being like really a super shy person and like really putting himself out there to check on me meant a lot. You know, the story gets a bit simplified because there were a lot of people who did help and tried to help, and my family helped and my friends helped.
People knew.
Yeah, people knew better than I did. I was like, I'm fine. Like, okay. Here's, I think that was a interesting time too, as I learned about like, you can't just run away from feelings and you can't just train harder. I had to like sit down, feel my feelings, which in sport, you probably also experience like compartmentalization is awesome. You can just go out and like push stuff away, and the person who can do that can win. And like, that's not a curve. Right. And that's not actually a great life strategy for me. So now I'm like, obsessed with feelings, and we all got to feel our feelings.
Did you, I don't even know where to go.
Yeah, that was a pile of stuff, but I've been sharing it more and more because it's as meaningful as like, she won a gold, but like also the hard times I think help people a little more.
That's what I was going to ask you. I was like, when did you find the courage to actually, work that into your keynotes, and then right beside that, start talking about it on, little shows like this? Like, what do you think that tipping point was? Oh,
this is a TSN turning point with a very specific moment when I decided to share all my vulnerable, because it's awful stuff.
And I agree with you like 1,000% that, people see the highlights all the time, but it's all these other pieces of them, these other stories that actually give people more context for what people go through and what it potentially could look like to actually get to these highlight moments. They don't really get talked about.
Full human experience, baby.
Yep. So TSN turning point.
The moment was,
which I love that.
running fast and female, running this charity for girls in sports. And we hired Tasha Belix, who you should have on the show. She's unreal. She's a psychologist here in Calgary.
Oh, I would.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's a super incredible person. She's a specialist also in teen girls.
Cool.
So I was consulting with her for how we should run the curriculum in the charity. And she's like, the girls and kids stand to hear your hard time stories more than Ye won the gold.
Yeah.
And then the operations person at Fast and Female, Gabriella Estrada, who also has like these academic chops. She's like, there's research that says the role models need to be relatable. And so we kind of moved a little bit away from like Chandra Crawford, Natalie Spooner, to like actually your librarian and your gym teacher and your mom, and like relatable role models mean more. Okay, so Tasha said you got to share some of the hard times too. I'm like, no.
This is how many years kind of like?
Oh, this was now it was 10 years ago that I first started. Like, even to stand there and acknowledge I once had a hard time was hard. And then this year I have a speaking coach. I'm just gonna like start sweating. This year I have a speaking coach because I'm gonna level up my keynote speaking. I have to do 10 times the vulnerability that I was doing before. So what I just shared was probably halfway to whole hog, where I actually tell you what I said to myself in my head. And I'm like, I'm going to stand on the stage and say, I called myself obese and a whore. He's like, you don't have to, but it's an option. Or like, you'll love this because you're in storytelling. I'm like, I think I should add some more detail to when I had my lowest low, what it was like in Seefeld, Austria.
Yeah.
It's such a beautiful town. And he's like, no, you should add more detail to what you were feeling. I'm like, oh. So working on my keynote has been agony. It's a good thing I like hard things.
Yeah.
It's been really hard. And I think it's really rewarding too, because people come up to me after and they're like, wow, you're talking about this on the stage. And then they share their thing, and they're like, I've never told anyone. So it's been powerful in that way. I can't imagine what it's like to be, Clara Hughes and Silicon Laumann and like, big time mental health speakers, because I think they get a lot on their doorstep. And,
for sure.
And but the present level, I really appreciate, and I really appreciate the hugs and the sharing. And I'm like, remember, I'm an athlete, like Asterix. She's still just an athlete, just not a mental health professional. But really appreciate just getting to connect.
Yeah. At a wildly different level. Like
Yeah.
those, I can imagine what it's like to sit in the crowd and hear you get into that.
Oh my
Because it'd be,
Yeah.
because people don't, because it's kind of like that. The reason I don't research anybody, it's just because, when they're a person like you that has a history, you go to the Wikipedia, wherever, right? And it's just like this like shitty resume of these like highlight moments or result driven moments. That's not really like who you are. So, which is why I don't like to do that. And this is kind of the same idea of, people might go to this keynote and be like, okay, I want to hear what it feels like to win a gold medal. And you're like, well, I've told that story 700 times, but here's the real story.
Yeah.
And that just has to confuse people.
Right. Fall down 7 times, get up 8. And I hope they leave that room a little more like just able to face their shit just 1% more.
Yeah.
Just turn towards it that tiny bit more resiliency. And it's at the point now where it's like the takeaways are really just the story.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, and then all this happened and then I clawed my way out of it. And wow, that felt amazing.
Yeah. Your transition, that was your last game, 2014?
Yeah, 2014. I was really looking forward to because by that time I'd met my now partner, Jared. I was really looking forward to moving on. I've been wanting to have another life beyond sports since I was a teenager. All these things I want to do. And so I was able to, retire on the spot, do some trips. Our team had like a code about you can't party, which makes sense. It's disrespectful to the other athletes. So I partied a little bit, and then before they could kick me off the team, I was like, I'm gonna go. I got a flight, and moved on with my life. I did some trips, started studying for the GMAT, and just wrote that and got into the MBA program at the Haskell.
Amazing. Between like going back to school, always knew you wanted to. You have the charity going on. Did anything ever like slow down? You have a new partner. Was it ever like, are things always moving forward for you? Like, is it just this like steady push that you give energy to all the time? Or are you just moving and like opportunities are presenting themselves and you're kind of choosing yes or no?
That's a good question. Well, I'm intentionally designing things as I go in like a 3, 5, 10 year kind of way.
Okay.
Keynote speaking was a dream since I was a teenager and saw Sharon Wood. And she had this message like there's more in there, and that just like changed my life. But also when I met her, she had climbed Everest 40 years ago. And I was like, hang on a tick. So you guys are in trouble. I'm going to talk about this gold medal for forever.
Does that bug you at all? That like
Ye old medal?
Just like back it up to like what I just said earlier. Is like when people look at you or, that's who you are. Does that rub you at all? Or are you just like, this is a big part of who I am. And then, here's the real story.
It's a nice way to open doors. A nice way to get your LinkedIn messages answered. I will take it.
I know if I had OLM beside my name, I'd be like,
yeah. I think it's like in service of the, for so long it was in service of fast and female. And that's like no problem.
Yeah.
We are using this. And then, whatever I'm doing, I'm just doing it from this place of like, I really love myself and others turning our obstacles into opportunities. So if I do occasionally feel like, this is weird running around talking about this medal. People have asked me, I have a long story about that German racer, Claudia Kunzel, who pushed me. And then like this revenge where I beat her in the Olympic final. And people have asked me like, does Claudia know you're like out here in Canada running your mouth about her? And we did end up being friends eventually. So I should drop her a line and let her know.
It's part of your...
She's the villain.
Which is like every story needs one.
Yeah. Sorry, babe.
Do you think that because you found your purpose, because you kind of could, you ended it on your terms essentially, that it's just you're not defined by that singular moment. You know that there's so much more to your story?
Yeah, that makes sense. And I wouldn't trade the the struggles I had for the world. Like I would not want to be me pre-struggles. I feel like a much more expansive identity. It made my transition better, made me a better person, better partner, and better mom, which is like my purpose now. I'm like, got these 4 little ones and just, taking care of them and getting to know them and trying to take care of myself and my partner and do everything. And our dog, beautiful golden retriever, of course. But I just like, I forget the question again.
Well, it's like, it's being like like you're so thoughtful about all these things and just being very mindful of all these decisions you're making and the direction you're going. Like it's just, and just understanding that moment wasn't, it's not all you.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. I don't feel defined by the medal, because then I raced 8 more years to make sure I appreciate it. No, never won again. Like I won 2 little World Cups. That was very, very special. But like I had a lot of time to understand I'm not my results. And I had a lot of training as a teenager. Like if I identify as my results, then I couldn't even ski fast. Like you got to be whole and well. And I would race faster that way. Then I went through that big meltdown. Like so many parts of my ego died. Like, oh, I am an athlete, or oh, I'm a member of this relationship, or I'm like a upstanding member of the community. So understanding, like going through that, stripping that a lot away, getting down to like, okay, I'm just like, I'm an energy. I am going in a direction of growth. I'm here to love as much as possible in the time I get on earth, grow as much as possible. Be in service, be in service to the charity, be in service to the next generation, to the kids I have and the families around them and people I don't even know. Like, what are we doing here? We're on a little like marble, the 3rd one from the sun. It's wild. Like, what are we going to do with these precious days,
Do you, when you say you're in service, do you have an idea of like the keynote speaking obviously touches a certain audience? The charity piece, being a mom, partner, like, do you have any other ideas of where that's going to take you?
Ooh.
And it's fun, like, I don't know, like books or like podcasts, or is there other ideas that are out there that would help you kind of go down that path?
I have a lot to say. I have a big, several like social justice volcanoes in me for sure. And all the work for women in sport. It's like, I really want to continue contributing to this. I have 2 sons and 2 daughters. And you really get to see, I'm sure with your nieces and nephews too, like sometimes they've done experiments where they show someone a baby. If that person has not been told, if it's a boy or girl, they don't even know how to interact with it. And you really see it when you have, like I have these kiddos and like the baby comes out. It's a blob. It just wants milk. And someone's like, oh, dinosaurs. Oh, you're so fierce. Like, it's so intense, the gender differences. And I really want to live in a world where anyone can be anything and my kids can be anything. And I care so much about like the health and well-being of our communities at large. So I really care about like the plight of men and men's mental health and like the suicide rates for dudes. Like we got to change this. We have to have, so I've been working so long in the feminist side of women in sport. And now I'm almost going more towards like, I want to work with this organization, Next Gen Men. I love their work. It's like, can men have feelings and be sensitive and be well? Women have been told like, we can do anything. Of course, we're super strong. We're doing everything. But the kind of corresponding yin yang part of the puzzle where men can have like, and I think actually your podcast does a great job. So I'm thrilled with the work I have seen and get to be here with you and just keep up the great work.
Thank you. This has been a fascinating one.
I have so many rants. I hope you have a lot of videotape in these cameras.
Well, it's like, yes, we got all the tape. I think it's, I've said this before, but I love like sitting down with athletes. And the reason, and when you touched on the transition and how, some conversations I've had, definitely people struggle with it. But I always find that's one of the most intriguing parts of chatting with athletes is that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, two pieces. One is like being, their identity being tied to a specific result, and then the transition out. Those are like 2 really interesting themes that kind of creep up on the show when I get to chat with athletes. So anyways, it was really cool hearing yours because it's, again, I'd have no idea about any of this. So it's been, just another fascinating chat.
Oh, right on. Yeah. Identity is a big nut to crack for sure. I'm working on, part of my identity right now is like, I'm always felt disorganized. I've always given myself a super hard time. And so I'm working on like, in Atomic Habits where they say to like make your new identity. So I'm working on like, that's like me to check my calendar. That's like me to follow up. That's like me to write down my appointments.
How do you decide what you're going to read? So I don't read. I read no books. I don't know why.
How do you get information?
I don't.
I'll tell you all the things. I'll summarize it and we'll go biking.
This is like, no, I'm not. The only way I'm biking with you is if you hook me up to one of those like elastics or you pull me.
That's all talk.
No,
there's 5 love languages and the 6th love language is trash talk.
Well,
I love trash.
But usually though, the sneaky ones are when the trash talk, but right under there is like dead honesty. But the reading thing, like, are you always looking for something or are you trying to research something where you think there's a gap in your own world?
That's so curious.
And the reason I'm asking because I'm like, why don't I read? What am I avoiding?
Well, it's just our neural processors are different too. Like some people don't absorb from reading and they absorb from doing podcasts. It's science.
I guess.
Yeah. Is
it a perpetual like hunt for you to find something?
Yeah, I'm really curious and I do have pain points and I also have like that inner achiever.
Yeah.
The inner achiever is pretty hell-bent on what do we got to do here? We got to read all these books. Like it's got to be so exhausting to be my partner, Jared. But this guy is like the person I've met who reads the most and grows the most and journals the most.
No way.
That I've ever met. So we're just both super annoying. We couldn't be together.
But that sounds like the only way it would work though, right?
Yeah.
We
have this poster on the wall. It's from this company called Train Ugly, and it's like, you are a learning machine and like skills are built, not born. And it's like this whole manifesto. So it's been a lot of fun for us to do that together.
You can share it.
Yeah. To the extent that I'm going to read a few more parenting books than him, it can be tricky. And he's going to do a few more business books than me. But we can see that as a positive.
Amazing. So, but it makes sense, right? Like why you can operate like that. Because if there's somebody in your world that's doing something similar, it's like,
yeah, we're just learning. Oh, it's so brutal. You got to get my sister in here. She's like, save me. I just want to exist. So, like, this morning already, I found an app that's helping me with my procrastination. It's called.
What does she say when you send her these things?
Nothing. Leave me alone.
The silence.
Yes. Oh, dear. Yeah. But it's just like want to get everything out of this time I have. And the stakes feel really high being a parent, like to, and seeing my brother pass away from addictions. I'm a little bit viscerally aware of like, we can lose young people. So that maybe adds an intensity for me that is not good. And I go to my own psychologist and I try to chill out.
Amazing. It's like,
jeez.
Yeah, just everything's.
Yeah. It's been a lot. It's just fun to figure things out. I'm very curious.
Yeah, to have that attitude versus being overwhelmed.
And I like reading fiction too, like going on these empathy journeys and people's experiences. And some of the things I've found have changed my life so much. Like self-compassion. Has anyone on the pod talked about the self-compassion yet? It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's like amazing fuel source. Like to speak kindly to myself and cheer myself on has like opened so many doors. Like that MBA I did, I was just sweating and crying my way through the MBA. Like every Tuesday I had study group and my hand would just be on the door of my own home, trying to leave my home, tears pouring down my face because I can't even find the folders in the drive, let alone do the homework. It was so much ego, pain and death. And it was like just amazing. At some point I started using self-compassion. I found this Kristen Neff thing and, in sports too, I would cheer myself on. And then I started to be like, because the NBA people say business is all about relationships, but that thing is 18 out of 20 courses of math.
No thanks.
It was so gnarly. And I couldn't multiply 2 numbers in Excel. So I would just be there crying and
just over here crying.
crying but trying. And then I started to speak kindly to myself. And I was like, it's okay, Chandra. Put your hands on your heart. What's in cell D10? It's just a little number. It's not going to hurt you. Like if you really want to do the gold standard of self-compassion, when you're on your bike or you're like messing things up in the business, be like, speak to yourself like you're a scared, wounded animal. And it's just so helpful to be kind to myself. Like think about if I'm mean to myself, it's going to activate my fear center. Like, Chandra, you idiot, why do you suck so much? And like my amygdala will open. I'll have fear in my body. My prefrontal cortex will like take a break. That's not what I need. So I think that achiever in me is like, oh, there's a better fuel source. People who do self-compassion study harder and longer for tests and achieve more. Okay.
I'll go that way.
Yeah, I just really want to rock.
Amazing. And that, to your point, that's why I do this show.
Yeah.
This is one of the benefits of it. I don't have to read anything. I just get to listen.
Like, oh, you want to hear all the things?
Which is
Okay. Hope you didn't have another appointment. Wicked.
Thanks for doing this.
Thanks for your time and great questions.
I end the show with one question. When I say Calgary, where's your head go?
Calgary for me is an Olympic city, and it's impacted my life so deeply, this Olympic legacy and the energy behind it. That means the world to me. But I also love nature, and I love being in this beautiful place where 2 rivers meet and all the amazing people here.
Amazing. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Really cool to actually meet you. It's always interesting, like connecting with somebody on the internet and just kind of watching from afar and just like seeing what's happening. But this experience is just, it's not lost on me. I feel very lucky to be able to sit across from characters like you. So thank you.
Same back at you.
Thanks.
And loved every minute. Thanks.
Thank you.